of the month of November, on November 6th, you can check out Boca Raton Championship Wrestling if you happen to be in South Florida. And we are pleased to be joined by somebody who will be there on Sunday, November 6th. Oh, he's got them. He's got the scissors. Brutus Beefcake joining us here on GKW. Bruce, thank you so much for taking the time and talking a little Boca Raton Championship Wrestling with us.
Hey, not a problem, man. Love Boca Raton Championship Wrestling, Neil the Heel, Matt Bashler, two guys that are having a passion for the business, and they created this whole thing to bring that dream, to into the present day. And man, it's pretty cool stuff. I am the commissioner,
Oh yes, of course. So how many pairs of those scissors do you have?
Oh, geez. I got a few laying around here and there for special occasions, and put some away, a few years back just for a rainy day and stuff,
We've gotten on good authority that you do watch AEW because of your grandson and his affinity for Jungle Boy. But we're talking about scissors. We got to start there. One of the most over things in AEW right now are scissors. Probably the most over scissors have been in pro wrestling since you. How fulfilling is it to watch scissors be over again in pro wrestling?
That's a little crazy. I don't know. My grandson Gino, he's he just is in love with the business and yeah, well, my wife Missy and everything, she's a big part of it.
Sesame Daddy.
This whole deal. And,
Sesame Daddy.
Jungle Boy, I'll give you
Sesame Daddy.
I'm gonna whack your head.
That's fantastic. I was not anticipating your wife yelling "Scissor me, Daddy" in the background. Wasn't prepared for that. Let's talk a little bit before we get more into Boca Raton Championship Wrestling and everything happening Sunday, November 6th. So you do have a book that's available at brutusbeefcake.com. If fans want to buy the book, what can they expect when they open it up and read it?
Well, they can expect it's a G-rated book. I mean, you could read it to your kids. It's not like sex, drugs, rock and roll, but it's a mild, funny, great stories, great road stories. And not just a bunch of made up stuff. Man, it's everything that happened in my lifetime over the period of the many, many years, and it's just a fun, great book. I haven't had one person come to me and say, "Brutus, I read your book, and it sucked." It's like everybody says, "Man, that was great." I started reading it, I couldn't put it down, and when are you going to do another one? I said, "Well, we're trying to, maybe do an extra chapter and redo the cover and make it some kind of special little deal, and tell maybe some WCW stuff that because we didn't really get into. I didn't get into a lot of WCW stuff in the book, and there's still a lot to talk about."
What is it like putting together a book like that and just going down memory lane and all the different accomplishments you had in your career?
Well, it took a long time. I started on this book years and years back, and then the guy that was helping me do it passed away, and all my research, all my stuff was lost. Excuse me. And then Missy, my wife, came in contact with a guy named Kenny Casanova, and he's a ghostwriter, and we got in touch with him, and we started calling and talking. We started talking. And man, we had a lot of stuff. I mean, Missy went through for days and days trying to trim it down and pull out stuff, it wasn't really appropriate. And, we don't want to get, I don't want to get anybody in trouble or anything, not that kind of book. But it was a great fun book. And I'm looking forward to, to getting back out on the road again and the BRCW, man. It's like an old school. It's like, it reminds me of the 80s at WWF days when you had the good guys and the bad guys, and then they had characters and real just people. wasn't too much soap opera in it. It was just good stuff, and the kids could watch it, and the grandmothers liked watching it. We had a real big audience, and everybody loved it. And I think, just they've shortened their audience too much now. We're trying to get, the BRCW to be a real audience friendly, and everybody can, bring the kids, and great stuff for the kids, and a great show.
So now as you mentioned, you are the commissioner of Boca Raton Championship Wrestling. As you've kind of reached this part of your career, as you've gotten older, did you feel it was important to kind of get back? Because you see so many of the guys of your era who do give back and want to get back into it and try to work with the younger generation. Was that important with you to try to work with the younger generation of wrestlers and help them achieve some of their dreams, as you are now doing with BRCW?
Absolutely. I think it's very important thing for the guys with the experience to do, is to help try to pass along some of that experience. And we're bringing in guys. We got Mark Long, the godfather of reality TV, super guy coming in, and the talent we got that BRCW has is just wide ranging, and there's some great women wrestlers in there and stuff. And my wife, she goes, I go as the commish, and she is the delish. And and Neil the heel, he does the announcing and stuff, and it's like it's a whole family family run thing, and it just has a great feel to it.
We also see on your Twitter at Brutus Beefcake _ the way, going to conventions and things like that. What is that like when you go to some of those conventions and you get to link up with some of the guys you shared a ring with, but now you're taking pictures and signing autographs and meeting some of the fans that you impacted?
Oh man, well, it's everything's it's just a pleasure to get out on the road and get with all the fans. And there's just such a tremendous fan base out there. It just never ceases to amaze me how many wrestling fans are still out there and still want to come out and see. They love the '80s guys. We're still trying to put together something with some old friends, and to go back to the Saturday morning. Nothing was better than the Saturday morning TV show, the wrestling show. And I'm working with some other guys, Tommy Fierro, and quite a few other people too. And we're trying to put together something like a Saturday morning show, wrestling show that's really geared for the kids and stuff, like kind of like not a cartoon, but just characters with personalities and gimmicks and stuff, like the old Coco Beware and the guys that had flashy, outfits and stuff, and big personality, and doing the interviews and talking it up out there, and the Sheik, the Volkov, the Tito Santana, there was just a Macho Man. There was just so many different characters, and so much to see and experience. That's what we're hoping to do.
So you were kind of talking about, some of those, the old days. What was it like for you when the WWE called you in 2019, wanting you to be in the class of 2019 for their Hall of Fame?
Well, I was like, I was beginning to think it was never going to happen. About 10 years ago, somebody called from the WWE building, because it was on my phone, the caller ID, and left a message or something about me being in the Hall of Fame. That was like 10 years ago. Everybody got all excited. Everybody was going crazy, and it turned out it was a prank call.
Oh no! Oh
yeah. So after that, I was like, man, okay. I don't know who I must have made mad or pissed off or whatever, but and then being patient pays off. I was a patient fisherman, and when they called, they had Sports Illustrated. They wanted to have a big release to announce me, and they had the Hulkster come out, and nobody else had a presenter. They had me having a presenter, had the Hulkster do the presenting, and so I mean, my career's just been so tremendously blessed. I had a setback in 1990 with an accident, they said, "You never wrestle again, Bruce." They didn't even want me to ever drive a car again. So there was some milestones there. It had some obstacles to overcome. And, I got to tell you, it really changed me as a person and, made me realize, how great and how much I appreciated, the fans and everything. I had thousands of letters from the fans, in support me and, hoping for me to get better and wishing me to get back to TV. And somehow I was able to do it. I mean, and, my doctor said, "Hey, I can't tell you not to do this, but you're crazy." I said, you know me. Of course I'm crazy, but that's just the rapper on the outside, Brutus Beefcake. Boom, boom, bam. The Brutus Beefcake, the heel, turned into Brutus Beefcake, the babyface, and chopping people's hair off and spray paint and everything. I heard you guys talking about the babyface and the heel. I was the heel that turned babyface and was still a heel. They beat up everybody and cut their hair too. So it was like I had the best of both worlds going there.
We talk a lot about that with the babyface and heels. Like, you sort of need that dance partner to sort of have that perfect story. Who were some of your favorite people to work with during your career?
Oh, well, Mr. Perfect, Honky Tonk Man, Rick Martel. Excuse me, Rick Rude. There was just so many guys. I enjoyed wrestling like Harley Race. I mean, a guy, his background, I watched him from the time I was a kid and wrestling these hour matches, and I just never imagined in my life that I'd get a chance to wrestle him and Bobby Heenan in the corner and the manager thing and Harley Race flying over out of the ring and taking bumps out of the top rope and just making me look like $1 million. And it was just, it was just so gratifying just to have had that kind of respect from a guy like Harley Race, and it's things like that I'll carry the rest of my life. I'll never forget that. And, Andre the Giant, people like that too. Had a great rapport with Andre. Did probably, I think, the best interview he ever did on a Barber Shop with me and Andre and stuff. And it was just a tremendous experience over, 40 something years in the business. And, I'm just happy to still be able to, be around the business and be, with the boys and stuff. Me and my wife are down there with BRCW and hanging out with Neil the Heel and Matt. I mean, these are just great people, great families. And it's very exciting.
So you bring up the Barber Shop. So you were there, one of the more iconic moments in the history of professional wrestling, the breakup of the Rockers with Marty Janetty and HBK. What was that like? What was that whole scene like from your perspective? Did you think that Shawn Michaels was going to ascend to be the star that he became after the breakup of the Rockers?
I really didn't have any idea how really big he was going to be able to. He really climbed that ladder. He was handed an opportunity, and he did good. I really felt a little bad for Marty there, who I liked a lot. Marty, I thought Marty kind of really got left by the wayside, and maybe should have got a little better treatment there. He really kind of got ditched, and because he's a great guy. He was a great talent, a great wrestler, and. But that's sometimes, things happen and you have to play the cards you're dealt.
We talk about the 80s and 90s wrestling, and there's almost been a rebirth. You see T-shirts, the Hogan and the Savage T-shirts just walking down the street now. For you, when you see something like that or see a generation of fans look back so fondly, what's it like when you're like, oh, that was part of that generation? I shared a locker room with those guys. What is that like for you personally?
Well, it's just gratifying, being around the 80s when we first got we were rock stars. We first, MTV, VH1, bam, I'm on Saturday nights, main events, almost every Saturday night. I got more airtime than any WWE, WWF wrestler ever. And my numbers were so good, they just said, man, we want Brutus. We want Brutus. We want Brutus. And what an honor, what what a great thing, and to be able to be looked on with as an icon, as a legend, and have been there and to be so recognized, and to be so, travel the world now, and people everywhere, anywhere I go, always they recognize me, and they always have something nice to say, and it's just a tremendous feeling.
I feel like it's the 80s right now.
Fair.
Well, so in the 80s is obviously, I mean, as you mentioned, there's still so many fans of the 80s wrestling that come out and want to see you and some of the people that you worked with. So when you take a look at right now professional wrestling, what would you think? What would you say the state of professional wrestling in 2022 is?
Well, I mean, it's a lot different. It's changed a lot. You got AEW, Chris Jericho. These guys they're really working hard to try to change that little craziness tone that kind of wrestler kind of got off track, I think, a little bit. They're working hard to try to bring more wrestling back to the wrestling show and everything. And I mean, it's the nature of our business. It changes, and it doesn't always change for the better. So that's why it's hard. That's why it's good for the guys to work hard to try to change it in good ways, to keep those fans and not turn the fans off and push them away, but to keep them coming, wanting more.
We see a lot in the ring now, second, third generation, the Charlotte Flairs of the world. We saw the Rock's daughter make her debut this past week. As someone part of the business, what is the reaction when you see that? Like, all right, following in mom and dad's footsteps. What's that like from you?
Oh man, I have Gino, my grandson, and Lucas, my other grandson. He's a little younger, and I foresee them to become huge, big wrestling fans. Gino just loves climbing up on the couch and jumping off on his little wrestling buddy. I got him dropping the elbow and giving him the body slam and giving it a splash and everything. And I just hope to be able to continue to be a good role model and keep and have those great memories of them growing up.
He is the commish of Boca Raton Championship Wrestling. Sunday, November 6th. Why should people in South Florida go check you guys out for the November knockdown there in Boca Raton?
Because they should come if they want to have a great night out with the family. Neil and Matt treat their wrestlers better than any place I've ever been. I mean, they even the fans that come to the shows, they feed them and stuff at the shows. So I mean, I've never seen a wrestling show that bring the fans in and actually feed them.
Scissor me down, Daddy.
Scissor me down. Well, it's a big compliment for me because there's nobody's trying to be. At least they're not trying to be a barber, but the scissors are just so over and so powerful that you can't hardly blame them for wanting to be able to bring them back and utilize them.
Well, Brutus, thank you so much for the time. We certainly appreciate it. Best of luck to you. And Brian's the one down in West Palm, so maybe he'll come check you guys out. The Boca Raton Championship Wrestling, Sunday, November 6th for the November Knockdown. Tickets available, BocaRatonWrestling.com.
Tickets, man. This thing's going to sell out. We don't want you to be left out.
Thanks for the time, Brutus.
You bet.
Thank you.
Again, check out his website, BrutusBeefcake.com, if you want to check out his book. Also, he's going to be appearing coming up in February. He'll be a part of the Jericho Rock and Wrestling Cruise.